Standing on the edge of a revolution, and that is exactly what's going on, very quietly behind the scenes. I know you'd all like it out in the open, but to be quite frank with people, you wouldn't like to hear half of the stuff what really goes on behind the scenes. It would sicken you, alarm you, and exasperate you on equal measure, because the what's happening now is a widening of the gap between what is real news and what is fake and portal people news, and it's never anywhere near our reality. Now, I've covered Mr Khashoggi last week and also in the news again, and we're going to be mentioning him again because you're going to get the real truth. Not what the portal people tell you or how they spin it, but the real truth. So the Saudi Arabia story and the killing of the journalist Mr Khashoggi is in the background of what happened somewhere else. And some people within the US military, with full knowledge of the details of what took place with Mr Khashoggi, then arranged a deal whereby the US, I'll repeat that again, the US, would receive a $2 trillion payout to cover up the murder of Mr Khashoggi by the Saudi Crown Prince. Mr Mnuchin, the head of the Treasury, flew out to Saudi Arabia last week to collect the payment. Except Saudi Arabia don't have $2 trillion. None of them do. Their reserves show that they're somewhere around 400 billion. So quite how they were going to pay out rogue elements within the US, 2 trillion is beyond me and everybody else with any sort of common sense. Now, Mr Mnuchin, who had flown out to Saudi Arabia there, despite being instructed not to go by Mr Trump, but went anyway, and thought he could bring the funds back to America and use it as a Rothschild-style bailout, like a fake RV payment. This is why all the clowns on the internet still pushing the RV think they were going to get paid out again. Wrong. But Mnuchin and his band of Rothschildians felt they had no options left. After another mass hacking attempt on the quantum system last week, Mnuchin then went to Israel. When he didn't collect any funds from Saudi, he then went on to Israel to collect funds from them. I'll have more on that reason, why he went there, in a later piece. And they told them they have none either and go to the Saudis, who are the real main funders of the Zionist element in Israel, or go to the Rothschilds, aka the Chinese elders. Now, Mnuchin approached so-called elders and was presented with $40 trillion worth of gold certificates, which he then returned back to America and arranged a meeting with Mr Trump. Oh boy. At that meeting with Mr Trump, which Mr Trump had been prepped for, of what to look out for, what to expect, Mr Mnuchin started to show Trump each certificate, and Mr Trump checked it for validity and the origin of the certificates via the terminal. Now, the first certificate stated the holder and the signature was Mana World Holding Trust and Kim Go-gyun. The second certificate, the same. The third certificate, the same. And once it got to the fourth or more certificate, Mr Mnuchin asked Mr Trump to stop. He'd been rumbled. He and they thought Mr Trump would not check the certificates, but he did, and they all belong to the Mana World Holding Trust. All $40 trillion of them. Oops.